Nick Kyrgios is usually dominating the news, whether he plays or not. This time he's explained how he won't be a part of the upcoming Laver Cup, which takes place after the US Open in September. In today's video, we'll be discussing what the Australian has been up to and why he won't be in the O2 come the 23rd of September. First up, what's the latest on Nick Kyrgios? With the Cincinnati Open set to begin on the 13th of August, we're expected to see Nick back in action after his Wimbledon final loss to Novak Djokovic. The 27-year-old was in sensational form this year and strung together a wonderful run to become a Wimbledon finalist, and he'll be hoping for more of the same when he features in the Cincinnati Open. It'll be the first appearance for the man from down under in Cincinnati since his famous meltdown in 2019. The organizers have always loved having entertainers like Nick play their tournaments, so it was hardly a surprise that they decided to give him a wild card for the main draw. He's familiar with the Masters 1000 tournament, having reached the finals here not too long ago when he lost to Grigor Dimitrov in straight sets in 2017. But then he got a record fine of around $113,000 after smashing multiple rackets, verbal abuse, and also many instances of unsportsmanlike conduct. In fact, he also received a 16-week ban from the ATP, but he hopes to put that behind him this year. It's also ideal preparation for the upcoming US Open later this month. Kyrgios is a very decent player on hard courts, and he'll be hoping to put in the hard yards and aiming for another deep finish should things go his way with the draw. It's slightly unlucky for him because the one time he makes his best finish in a Grand Slam, he doesn't get any points due to ATP's decision. He'll still be ranked at 47th and can improve his ranking a little bit with a good run in Cincinnati. Next up, Kyrgios expected in court after delayed hearing. It's not all roses and rainbows for the Australian. Kyrgios' ex-girlfriend, Chiara Passari, accused him of assault and has taken him to court over the incident that took place in December of 2021. We were hoping for some update on the case, but it seems that after being expected to appear in court on the 2nd of August, Kyrgios' hearing has been delayed to the 23rd of August, less than a week before the US Open starts in New York. The news about this matter broke during Kyrgios' career best run at Wimbledon, and as expected, most fans blamed Passari for bringing it up at a terrible time. It's disgusting what we as a society have become. It's obvious that these things take time, and she'd been on it since it was possible for her to do so. She had nothing to do with the timing of the breaking out of the news, and it's terrible to criticize her after God knows what she went through. We hope justice is served once the investigation is concluded and the guilty party gets the full sentence. This will definitely be a problem for Kyrgios, and he could be distracted before the US Open begins. His preparation will be affected, but he'll be hoping that things don't get too sideways and he can be back just in time to make an impact. But when you have something this big hovering over your head, there's a good chance that you struggle, and we hope the ATP takes a stand too if Kyrgios is found guilty, especially after their poor responses in the Zverev and Basilashvili scandals. And he's expected to miss the Laver Cup. On Instagram, Nick disclosed that he won't be taking part in this year's Laver Cup. It came as a shock for Team World because Kyrgios has been an integral part of their lineup and hasn't missed a single edition of the Laver Cup. John McEnroe would have been hoping to have his entertainer, who he likened to himself, for the tournament, especially after it was confirmed that Team Europe will line up with the Big Four. It should be a historic moment in tennis, watching all four, Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, and Murray, in action. But it also spells bad news for Team World. Team Europe has been extraordinary in the Laver Cup, having won each of the last 4 editions, and this year they'll be going stronger than ever before. Despite having a lot of star power, a player like Kyrgios can truly elevate the experience and make the game so much more fun. His match against Federer in the 2017 edition of the Laver Cup was one of the best matches we've ever seen. He's also produced some special performances, like the time he beat Thomas Berdych in another close match, and his 2 wonderful doubles wins over Team Europe. He's a big loss for the Laver Cup, but Team World still has plenty of stars to pick from, and they'll hope to close the gap on Team Europe this time around. Diego Schwartz was the first pick by McEnroe, followed by 2 young talents in Taylor Fritz and Felix-Auger-Aliassime. Jack Sock also returns, and he's a huge asset for Team World as he gives them a major edge in the doubles matches. 2 more names will be announced in the coming weeks for both sides, completing the lineup. Now, in other news, Nick's doubles win over French Open champions. Playing a high number of matches has never been an issue with Kyrgios, and while he's a very tough competitor in singles, he's no slouch in the doubles format. Teaming up with local star Jack Sock, the duo were drawn against the French Open champions of Jean-Julien Royer and Marcelo Arevalo. That's as tough a draw as you can possibly get in the first round, but Kyrgios and Sock had different ideas. They produced a perfect performance in the City Open, creating 10 breakpoint opportunities, but only 3 were enough for them to hang on to an impressive impressive 6-4, 6-4 win. This comes after his impressive run with fellow countrymen Tasani Kokkinakis as they beat Jack Sock and Rajiv Ram in the finals of the Atlanta Open. This means Kyrgios has now won 3 doubles matches in 3 days across 2 different tournaments, including a final. Not to mention his impressive singles run in the City Open. So far, he's managed to defeat 2 local heroes, Tommy Paul and Marcos Giron, in straight sets to set up a clash with another American, Riley Opelka. Up next, Kyrgios in sensational form. The Australian has been in some form since his Wimbledon run, and after sitting out the singles clash in the Atlanta Open against Peter Goyachik of Germany, he's so far come up with the goods in the Cincinnati Open. Watching him like this reminds us of all the promise he brought with himself when he first arrived on the tennis scene, and it's great to see Nick translating all that into results. Against Marcus Giron, there were moments of doubt for him, but for him staying locked in is simply fantastic to see. On the other hand, he's been in impeccable form in the doubles, as we discussed earlier. Wins are important, and it doesn't matter in which form they come, as long as they keep on coming, and it could be the perfect preparation for the final slam of the year for Kyrgios. He's expected to rise in the rankings if he can finish a little deeper in the City Open before entering the Masters 1000 in Cincinnati on the 13th of August. Kyrgios could potentially face another American should he get past the Opelka challenge, as Tiafoe seems to be in good form. Not to mention, Sebastian Korda has an easy route to the semis, and that means Kyrgios might have to defeat 5 Americans to book a place in the finals in Washington, which could, yet again, be another U.S. player, as Fritz and Cressy remain alive in the draw too. Lastly, the Aussies' wholesome moment in Washington. It's not all action from Nick, at least not always. Despite coming up against only American opposition on court, the support for Kyrgios has been crazy, and there's good reason for it too. Despite getting a code violation for ball abuse, the 27-year-old had the U.S. crowd in his corner, unlike Paul, as he ended up gifting an elderly woman one of his towels. This incident occurred after the woman was hit in the face by a wayward ball. Kyrgios walked up to her and handed her a towel in what was a wonderful gesture, but that wasn't his only interaction with the crowd, as he engaged in a chat with a spectator, and our guess is he probably asked for their advice on where he should serve, as he usually does. It definitely was good advice, as it helped Kyrgios win the game, as he was on match point. The Aussie will be hoping to win the title in Washington for the second time in his career, after having won the 2019 edition after defeating Daniel Medvedev. And that's a wrap for this video. Do you think Kyrgios can make another career-best run at the U.S. Open later this month? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. We'll see you in the next one.